3 cushions on the high altar, removed from her coffin, given back after the 70 years of her reign, and then she herself will be laid to rest beside her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, and it has to be said, 10 other British monarchs.
When the Queen's death was announced from Balmoral on September the 8th, a few days after Her Majesty had given that audience to the new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, there was a great sense of uncertainty, of things being in flux, the loss of the nation's rock or anchor, as one member of the public put it in the queue in recent days. The truth is, of course, that the Queen represented continuity and certainty to millions of people, certainly across Britain, but throughout the Commonwealth as well. And the past 10 days have underlined that, as well as the big supply of goodwill that clearly exists towards the new king. This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Queen Elizabeth was a life well lived, a promise with destiny kept, and she is mourned most deeply in her passing. That promise of lifelong service I renew to you all today.
Three cheers for His Majesty the King. Hip, hip!
She set an example of selfless duty, which, with God's help and your counsels, I am resolved faithfully to follow.
Yes, there's been a lot of sadness, but there's been a lot of gratitude too, it has to be said. Also people wanting to celebrate. One member of the public who I bumped into just said, what a reign, which I think summed it all up really. Focus on Buckingham Palace. It will be very poignant later today when that big procession passes the palace and the Queen's coffin on the gun carriage as Her Majesty passes her main London residence for the last time on the way to Windsor. That will be a little later on as we get